want to get back in to number one, clean water, how to do it. Number two, breathe clean air. Then number three, number four, and number five in a moment. But what do you think's happening culturally right now with all this insanity? Because people are either going completely insane or they're waking up. What do you think's going on, Dr. Groot?
One of the things that's happening is as people clean their body and they understand what you're talking about and they understand where all these chemicals and where they're being attacked from, at least they're waking up and they can do something about it because there is a solution to every problem. If you understand the poisons in the water and you drink clean water, that's a solution. If you understand they're poisoning the food and you're eating clean food, that's something else. And then when the fluoride and when the calcification of the pineal and when they start eliminating all the MSG and the excitotoxins, they start waking up. I mean, when your body is consumed with all these chemicals and all these toxins and all these eugenic things, it really causes non-aggressiveness. It causes non-motivation. And as you clean your body and as you become aware, like what you're saying, people are waking up and it's not so conspiracy anymore. It's becoming mainstream. Because people are finding out, and the government's in a last-ditch effort right now, I think, because they're just using every single resource that they can to try to control, to watch us, to do everything because they know and they can see that the word's actually getting out there and that we're actually trying to help people and we're giving people solutions. And people are waking up and more people are coming forward and talking to their senators and their legislators and everything else to try to do something about it. For the first time over the last 5 or 10 years, especially over the last 5 years, with the amount of information that you're putting out there and with the internet and with people actually being able to cross-reference things and actually see that this isn't just stuff that you're talking about and that we're saying, because I talk about the same thing. Look, first I'll say, yeah, fluoride is damaging. It's an endocrine disruptor, blah, 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 blah. It's going to shut down your thyroid. It's going to lead to all these conditions. They think I'm crazy because they're like, well, how can that be? It's in the toothpaste. It's in the mouthwash. They have water out there with fluoride.
It's hidden in plain view.
Water. Now, I just said, look, just do your own research on it. Vaccine issue. I mean, everything, everything we're talking about, but people are they're hearing it from their friends now. It's like their friends are talking about it. People in their circles are talking about it. People are actually waking up and they're seeing the results, too, of the people that are actually doing something about it and greening their home. In other words, getting rid of all the toxic compounds. And stuff.
Real greening, not to pay Al Gore money on carbon.
No, exactly. Yeah, I mean, they're actually aware and they're not buying the Roundup and they're not buying the toxic chemicals and they're cleaning their body on a regular basis and they're detoxifying their home. They're paying more attention to what they're giving their kids.
Were you awake to all this stuff when you got out of high school and joined the military and then went to college? I mean, when did you wake up?
I actually woke up to it in a weird way because I had studied pharmaceuticals and everything, and I was kind of brainwashed into calling everybody else a quack until I met somebody. Originally, I wanted to be a medical doctor and be a heart surgeon. That was my dream, and that's what I was studying, and I was brainwashed. I met a guy that was treating cancer naturally, and we kind of got into a little argument. I was brainwashed to think that natural medicine was all quackery and stuff like that. And he looked at me. He said, he knew I had a background in chemistry and biochemistry. And he said, fine, I'm not going to argue with you. Pick any prescription drug you want and tell me how that does any good on the body. I said, all right, that's not a problem at all. I mean, we wouldn't have prescription drugs if they weren't good for us. So I went to the library, brought out all the biochemical books, chemical books, took a couple prescription medications, broke them down chemistry-wise, looked at how they work on the body, and in about 2 hours, that was my wake-up call. That's when just like everything opened up. I saw it.
Look at how they put plasticizers in the bread illegally. It's illegal everywhere else.
Yes, it's illegal everywhere else. And now, now that Subway came out and said that they're going to actually take it out in the United States. But we're talking about food. That is health secret number 3, which is eat clean food. I mean, we know the food is contaminated. It's another eugenics system. The food is being man-made. It's genetically modified. Which causes the Bt toxin to be produced in the human gut, which burns holes through the intestinal lining, which leads to all kinds of allergies, leads to all kinds of other problems in the system. You have pesticides in foods, insecticides in food. You have dead food. I mean, we're actually herbivores in nature. We're not really carnivorous. We've kind of, evolved into that, but a carnivorous animal has canine teeth to rip and chew flesh. We don't. Secretes hydrochloric acid in its mouth. We don't. Has a pipe-like digestive system. We don't. And, you know, if you look at a carnivorous animal...
We're not even really omnivores.
No, we're herbivorous in nature, and we're designed to, you know, we don't have a pipe-like digestive system, and we're supposed to eat more live fruits, vegetables, and stuff like that. But we've been conditioned to not do that and to eat all these toxic chemical-ridden foods. Now with meat having all the hormones injected in them, it takes 3 years to get a calf ready. 1 year instead of 3 years to get a calf ready. The containment, there's 500,000 cattle, you know, butchered, you know, every week, I think, something like that. The point of the matter is, it's very simple. The way that we change everything in society is we just don't buy it. You know, if you don't buy the chemicals, you know, household cleaners, then they go out of business. If you don't buy the toxic foods, they go out of business. You know, you force them into producing organic things. I mean, the demand for organic foods, the demand to not sell foods that are genetically modified.
It's a model of success for everything else.
Yeah, we're actually starting to see it work. I mean, just look what happened with the Subway thing with the plasticizers in the bread, the petition that the Food Babe did. Now
we launched that on this show.
Exactly. Now all of a sudden they came out and they're taking it out. It takes that grassroots effort from everybody to step forward and to not support these chemical, you know, the industrial complex, you know, the medical industrial complex with pharmaceuticals and everything else. And we're seeing that people are turning away also from the prescription drugs too, and they're looking for natural alternatives, especially with this Obamacare disaster that's coming in. So my solution is, as far as the health secret number 3, which is eat clean foods, is avoid GMOs. The best way to do that is to avoid anything that has corn and soy in it, of course, because that's also going to be, you know, the soy is going to be another estrogen disruptor. And to go organic, you know, eat organic. If you can't afford organic, go to your local farmers markets. I mean, every city has one.
Well, people are buying so much organic, it's going down in price now as it creates a market. Now, moving right along to number 4, reduce your stress levels. Boy, this is one I could follow.
Yeah, I mean, you know, this is a health secret number 4, which is one of the things that I think is so damaging, because when you look at, you know, a lot of people walk around. There's so many people on antidepressants now. Kids are being put on ADHD drugs right now. They're thinking that it's just some weird thing that people are born with that's creating.
I guarantee you, if this continues, it'll be a conspiracy soon that everyone wasn't always on it. It'll be like, I heard people didn't used to all be on this. That's a lie. That's the criminal, the evil terrorist says that.
We remember a day when there wasn't people on anti-anxiety, ADHD drugs, or I remember a day when there wasn't any such thing as ADD, ADHD, which are all created to sell you.
They put us in an artificial environment, the bad food, the dyes. People start freaking out. Their answer is, here's these drugs that on record for most people make it worse and are incredibly toxic.
Well, here's what causes depression and stress and anxiety and ADD and ADHD. What causes it is the electromagnetic frequencies, the radiation people are exposed to through cell phones, through cell phone towers everywhere, the chemicals in the food, the chemicals in the water, the chemicals in the air. They're all neurological degradation compounds. They're excitotoxins. They either excite the nerves. I mean, if you put a drop of aluminum and mercury on a nerve tissue in the brain,
kills it.
You can see how fast it completely fries it and denatures it. Avoid the white flour, which has bromine in it instead of iodine, which it used to have in there. And the more people that actually do that, the more people that become awake. You know, you talk about increasing the consciousness, and eliminating the amount of toxins on a regular basis is what increases the consciousness.
Watch what mercury does on that TV screen of your TV viewer. They put mercury into the solution, and then it just hammers it down and kills it. They haven't released it yet. They release it here in just a moment. Boom. That's what some loving mercury does for you.
Yeah, and not only that's just mercury. When you combine that with other chemicals and metals, it even gets it exponentially gets worse.
Oh, the government loves me. Come on.
And the fact of the matter is, we're living in an estrogen dominant society, and I wanted to give back to the men out there and help balance the women as well, because I mean, there's so many estrogen mimickers. There's so many things that decrease the amount of testosterone, growth hormone, DHEA in men and women. And there's really nothing out there that's natural. I mean, now the big push for HRT is pharmaceutical based because they want everybody on testosterone.
Yeah, they take our hormones away and then we have to go buy them back.
Yeah, I mean, who knows where those hormones are coming from anyway? And it's not good to put the hormone in the body because then your body stops producing it if you keep it in there.
What about secret number 5? Cleanse your body and environment. This is the big one.
Yeah, it is the big one. I mean, we didn't give the solutions for the stress levels. I mean, one of the best ways to reduce your stress levels is actually bringing yourself from a sympathetic state into a parasympathetic state. Parasympathetic state is when your body's calm and not in a high level of stress. Everything is designed to keep you in high level of stress, whether it's media driven, whether it's chemical driven, anything. They want you stressed out because they know when you're stressed, your body goes into a stressful situation and your immune system is immediately dropped by 50% when you're in a state of stress. You know, you have a hard time having bowel movements. And if you can't have bowel movements, as a matter of fact, the average person out there has 2 bowel movements a week. That's because they're so stressed out all the time. The key is reducing your stress power, taking some time for yourself, learning how to, instead of living in fear, anxiety, jealousy, resentment.
Well, what do you call the stress, though, where I get into fighting the enemy and get all excited and run around in circles?
There's 2 types of stress. There's distress and there's eustress. Eustress is good stress because there is good stress, and distress is bad stress. If it affects you negatively, like your body, your biochemistry negatively, then it's distressed, it's bad. But you can get excited about something just like I'm excited about talking about this right here with you today. That's eustress. That's good stress. People thrive on that. I mean, that's what gives you the...
We're almost out of time.
You can wake up.
We got to hit the cleanse your body.
Okay, health secret number 5, keep the inside of your body clean on a regular basis. I mean, the
Bible says keep your temple clean.
Look, you can get any text from thousands and thousands of years ago, any society, and there's always cleansing. There was fasting. People would fast for a certain amount of times. People would go on water fast. People would always cleanse the inside of their body. The earth cleanses itself on a regular basis. You wash the outside of your body when you take a shower every day. But what are you doing for the inside of your body? All this stuff builds up and builds up and builds up over time.
But like you said, exercising, steaming, and then you've also developed the proprietary oxygen tablets.
Like intestinal cleansing on a regular basis, liver and gallbladder cleansing, parasite cleansing, which we haven't even talked about. Chemical and heavy metal cleansing. I mean, there's stuff out there that you can find online, but the whole purpose is that you know that the health secret number 5 is not only keeping the inside of your body clean, but also keeping your environment clean. And we talked about that with the air purification, the water, the inside of your house. Anything that you buy, look at it and say, is this something that's toxic? Do I understand what these ingredients are? And then switch from chemical toxic ingredients over to natural, non-toxic.
And it's a process. Nobody's perfect. It's taken me years to try to pull out of this, but it's getting better and better.